Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his way. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul glow. We already hit the top charts. So if you're really ready, let's go. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. From it, that's to be the host. NSC, co-host. Coach Shay, co-host. Prime time, co-host. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact voice. Walk in his ways, impact. Walk in his ways. Tune in to get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul glow. We already hit the top chart, so if you're really ready, let's go. Now wind it up, now wind it up, now wind it up. Don't stop till the time is up. Don't stop till the time is up. Now go wind it up, now wind it up. Go wind it up, go wind it up, go. Don't stop till the time is up. Go. Don't stop till the time is up. Go. Woo. Walk his ways, impact voice. Walk his ways, impact voice. Walk his ways, impact. Walk his ways. Tune in, get your mind right. Tune in and let your soul go. We already hit the top charts, so if you're really ready, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking His Ways Impact Voice Podcast. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. Today is Wednesday, September the 21st, 2022. We halfway through we're in the middle of September. September's rolling out. We're ready to go into the month of October. This 2022 is flying by fast. And of course, I'm excited to be with the game tonight, the fellas tonight. I got George Brooks from Meta Association here in Dallas, Texas. And I got my brother, Kareem Bennett here as well from the Living Proof Podcast. And I'm very excited they took time of their busy schedule to join me. I reached out to them. They're glad they accepted the invitation. We're talking about king mentality tonight. We're talking about developing that mentality as a king for the men. When you hear the word king, I'm not just talking about in money, cars, houses, and land. I'm talking about character, having that character of a king and knowing what a king stands in his rightful place when it comes to the relationship with ourselves, when it comes to the relationship with our significant other, whether you're married, dating, engaged, all that stuff plays a role. Legacy. We really want to focus on men getting to know themselves first as well. So I'm about to ready to pass on to the panel. I'm about to ready to introduce George. George, introduce yourself. I know you're not a stranger here to the podcast. I thank you once again for taking time out. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. My name is George Brooks, based out of Dallas, Texas, CEO and founder of Meta Association. Also do public speaking, available for things like that. You can reach me at metaassociation.org. Currently, I'm in Memphis, in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, taking a little time to kind of rest and reset, and rebrand and come out with some new things. So Furman reached out to me. Of course, anytime he calls, I come running. So good to be here this evening, and interested to see what we can discuss and come up with this evening. So thank you all, and happy to be here.
And I appreciate you, Joe, for taking time out. I would say, Kareem, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Definitely. So I'm as always, man. I'm a father, so I'm on my way to go pick these boys up. But I got like 45 minutes. So, but anyway, I'm Kareem Bennett. I'm a host of one of the hosts of Living Proof Podcast. Also, servant, gospel artist, father, family man. Overall brother, friend. And also another fan of Impact, man. I'm a fan, man. A lot of people don't say that, but I'm a fan of what you do, my brother. And I'll be watching, I'll be sharing. I don't know if you know, but I'll share it and stuff like that. Very good podcast. We have some very good, great content and stuff on there that's good, not just for youth and old, for everybody. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I work a lot with the youth and young people and stuff like that as a program coordinator, along with my own business with the podcast, media, and music, and setting up a label next year. So I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm just glad to be here tonight to see what the Lord is going to do.
Awesome stuff. And I appreciate you, KB, for taking time out for your busy schedule. The same way as George as well. And tonight we're talking about king mentality. This is geared towards the men. Learning how to be more accountable as men, not just blaming women for this and that, but taking responsibility for our own selves. We got a lot of movements going on. You got a movement going on where they teaching men to go their own way. You got they teaching men how to be about purpose and all this other stuff, but never teaching me how to be accountable. There are groups out there that are teaching me how to be accountable and not just really focus on the woman, but really just knowing our place as men. Like I said, you got a lot of groups, a lot of guys telling guys this, be on your purpose, get in that gym, get that money up, all the other stuff. My thing with that is, if he gonna get the money, do it for you. If he gonna get
Yeah,
the clothes, do it for you. If he gonna get the body, do it for you. If he gonna get the education, do it for you. Because if he only doing it to get a woman, you're gonna lose every time. Because if you lose the money, if you lose the house, if you lose the car, if you lose the look, she gonna leave you behind. So if you gonna do all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you do that stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? Then you got a lot of stuff they telling men to run away from single mothers. Single mother is no good and she lose value. She
Yeah.
steals a woman, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of guys who have
Mm-hmm.
wife single mothers, and a lot of times the single mother be the best woman that ever happened to them. Just because she had a child in a pre-relationship does not make her a bad person because you
yeah.
don't know her situation. You don't know whether the father had passed on. We don't know that. You don't know what happened in that situation, but don't just say she lost value because she's a single mother. So
Well,
they got groups telling that stuff. Go ahead, Joe. You want to say?
that sound like off the rip. One of the problems we have, and it's just based off what you're saying, is that we too busy listening. People don't know what the hell they're talking about, and instead of trying to look within ourselves to find our own answers in life, and following His purpose. I think part of the problem is with social media and with everybody having a voice and a venue for their opinions is everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and they don't. And we too busy trying to seek external answers for internal issues instead of relying on our own life experience. We always go to, well, what somebody else think. We already morally and in many ways we already have the answers to our own questions. It just takes some time and introspection, especially as men. That's why things I speak about are important, such as us establishing rites of passage for our men and young men. Um,
Yeah.
us doing things like establishing a sense of brotherhood, things like this, like what you're doing, giving us a venue to talk where it is for us, and where women can listen and observe and gain some insight as to how we think. So what you're doing is
Mm-hmm.
extremely important. But the thing is, we've lost our way, and that's because it's been something that when we were brought over here as slaves, it was indoctrinated into us. And with the end of the, well, not the end of the civil rights movement, but with the advent of the welfare system, it was instilled into us as far as separating the men from the household, and
Yes.
the
Yes.
men to lead the household. And when we were taken out of that role, we lost our way. You can look
Mm-hmm.
back at slavery. The first thing they did was separate the family, was break up the family. The men
Yeah.
and the military trainers, they were separated. They were
Okay.
killed off. They were emasculated, and they have weaponized our relationships with our women. In the sense, one thing I speak heavily about is mental health, about how we as Black men need to address our mental health. And one barrier we have is we don't open up. We don't discuss certain things because um, we feel as though that will be seen as a weakness. We still have a stigma. And that's why we're experiencing so many problems as Black men and as men in general in this country. We are wounded. We've been wounded since we were brought over here as slaves. Okay. Um, Mechanisms have been put in place systemically to hurt us, and we've done a lot of our damage to ourselves. Okay. We at this point can no longer wait on intervention to help us improve our condition. We have to do it ourselves.
That's right.
We
That's right.
waited too long. We have to address our mental health issues. Through that, address our economic situation, repair our relationships with our communities, with our women, with our children. And we need to do it now, because the difference between now and even 10 years ago is that mental health is now something we all know is real. It's something we all know that can be addressed. It knows no color. It
Yeah.
knows no economic factor.
Right.
It affects everyone. We have to deal with it now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what we're
Mhm.
talking about. You know, we just talking about. I know for the previous episode I had, you know, I had a young married couple. I had a married couple on here. I had a couple married couples on here twice on the show, and they were really talking about open communication. And
Right.
I noticed that getting together with the one you're gonna spend the rest of your life with, I noticed that there are open communication now. Learning about comparability. That's something I'm learning in my own life. Being compatible with the woman who I want to spend the rest of my life with, the woman who I want to have my last name, the one I want to have my ring, and just knowing that comparability. And I noticed that a lot of couples now, before they make that official Mr. and Mrs., they talk about everything, Joe. They're talking about uncomfortable conversations now in order to make that next move. What you say about that open communication? Because I do believe that our time is valuable.
Yeah, I think that the thing I'm really seeing that's encouraging, and I know I speak primarily of the black community because I'm a black man. I got to deal with home first. I want to deal with other cultures, but
Yeah.
I'm clean my house while I clean my neighbors. But one thing I'm encouraged is that, especially in the black church, I'm seeing more of an open mindedness to communication. As black men, as a black man myself, I've been in therapy for 4 years. It's done wonders for me. It's helped my communication skills. I'm not perfect, but I'm getting better. And it's encouraging to hear that couples now are taking that more into consideration pre-marriage. I think that'll help the divorce rate. I think that'll help as far as strengthening the family unit. I think it'll help as far as addressing our mental health. I think it'll help reduce the violence rate in the long run. But
Yeah.
communication is important because many of us don't really know how to communicate. I'm guilty. I've been guilty of this. A lot of times we listen to react and we
Mhm.
listen for trigger words to say to get in what we want to get in instead of necessarily listening to comprehend or respond. We listen to react. And so sometimes we have to learn to listen, and even I'm guilty of that. So that's encouraging to see the openness and the willingness, especially in my community, among my people, to try to communicate better. And that's great for marriages and all relationships.
Right. And you brought an interesting
Mhm.
point. They were cutting down the divorce rate. So in other words, it's
Yeah.
about giving that other party the, the decision to say, okay, well, I'm gonna go along with it or not. And that's
Right.
what a lot of people get so caught up in. They don't. We putting this man, putting this facade like we all listen to bag of chips, and then when soon
Yeah.
we give that person, we take the mask off. So now this person is
Mhm.
upset, self
Yeah.
betrayed because none of this stuff was
Yeah.
ever addressed. Whether you had some type of addiction, where you was addicted to this or that, whatever it was, it should have been brought up to the front because we don't want to waste nobody's time. And that's something I learned too. We gotta learn to value our time. If we don't think about that, especially men, like especially from a male perspective, because men know what they want.
Yeah.
From a male perspective, we get so caught up on the looks of a woman,
Right.
how
Uh
fine
huh.
she is. Look at her body. Look at this. Look at that. But we never got the chance. We never get the chance to know her character. We
Yeah.
just go off into how fine she looked. And then when we get off into the marriage, then a lot of guys get mad. Why I get with this woman for? Why I get with her? She didn't tell me she was like this. We
Yeah.
were so blinded because you're thinking from a physical aspect
Right.
instead of coming from a mental or spiritual aspect. It's questioning a lot of things, saying, okay, is this woman worth my time? Is she value to me? Is she an asset to me? Or would she be a liability to me?
And a lot
Before
of
go ahead.
Mhm.
times, usually before a man finds his purpose, once a man has found his purpose, I think he is
Mhm.
better attuned to what kind of woman, what kind of mate is best for him.
I agree.
Because since I realized my purpose in my relationship with God, I'm very in tune to the kind of woman through my fiance, Stephanie. She is the perfect mate for me because I'm in tune with what it is that we provide to each other since I found my purpose. Now, when you're younger, before you find your purpose, you're a little bit more susceptible to the pretty looks or the things that are more aesthetic and less concrete.
Yeah.
So you do tend to
Yeah.
kind of play the field and maybe waste a little bit of time. But that's part of finding out what you like. And that's part of
Yeah.
finding out who you are. And you have to allow yourself time for that. So, a lot of it is getting to know yourself. And I think one of the problems we have, and one of the problems I found out is in my role as a parent and as an advocate, I think young people get into serious relationships too young. They don't know themselves, and then they get into these committed relationships and get to living with each other. And I really think people need to not really get into committed relationships until about age 25, because I'm like, you really don't know yourself till about then. Wait, give yourself time. Don't rush. Give yourself time to live and kind of do some of those things you want to do, because when we get into relationships too young, it usually doesn't end well. I don't know many friends that got married between 18 and 25 that are still married. I just don't. So, I didn't have my first child till I was 26. So I waited a little while. And, it's a little bit better. I'm still divorced, but I was older. But we had a bad divorce, but I have a good relationship with my ex-wife. We're friends, we're good co-parents. So, but I say all that to say this is that I got to this point where I have a certain amount of peace because I worked on myself. I went through therapy. I got over myself. I humbled myself as a man. I got over the stigma. And I really had to go through my period of addiction, of circumstances and things to be accountable. Now, earlier you spoke about accountability. So let me give you sort of my idea of what accountability is. A lot of people think accountability is accepting responsibility for something you did. That's partially true. That's part of it. Accountability means taking responsibility for what you did, but it also means to me taking action to remedy or change what you did wrong or what you did not do. To simply say, okay, I did this is not being accountable. But what did you actually do to make sure that does not happen again? And that's full accountability. When my marriage did not work out, no matter it didn't matter whose fault it was, I had to take responsibility for myself and change it, despite what my ex-wife did or did not do. Whether she fixed herself, which I'm blessed she did or didn't, I had to take accountability and change it. In my battles with my addiction, I had to do the same thing. Every day I have to do the same thing. So that's really what accountability is. And we really need to instill that in our young men uh quickly, because that's the first step to manhood. You cannot go on a rite of passage if you don't have a sense of accountability. And you damn sure can't build a relationship with another person, let alone a woman of value, without you having a sense of accountability, because how can you hold anyone else accountable?
Right. Yeah, I know I see it all the time in our generation. You have
Yeah.
some guys take on that feminine trait of the woman. I do believe that a young man needs to be with his father. So he would not if he
Yeah.
with his mother, he's gonna pick up those feminine traits.
Right.
Yep.
But he's with his father can teach him how to be a man by leading by example.
I tell you something as a father. Now I have two biological sons and three stepchildren. So I don't like using the term stepchildren.
Right.
I just call them my kids. So I have three sons and two daughters. One thing as a father I learned, and this is part of God humbling me. If it's something that I can't teach them, especially my sons, I have no problem with hooking them up with a mentor, even if it's another man that can teach them something I can't.
Mm.
That's something that I notice a lot of my brothers have a problem with. If my son is in, let's say something, my son is in engineering. I don't know a lot about engineering. I have no problem with him being mentored somewhere else. And that's something we have to understand, is that many of those that we admire in life did not have just the father as the mentor. They had many mentors. So as fathers, we have to be open to letting other people mentor our children as they come up through life. We have to vet them. We have to meet them. We must make sure they're okay, but understand that a man of substance has many mentors, not just us. But we must be the first. We must be the example. And that means that at a certain point, especially our boys, need to cut the strings from the mother. And to me, that's about age about 7. They can be baby up until about then, I say, but at that point, it's time to come on from up under mama. It's time for you to get with daddy. It's time for you to learn how to change some oil. It's time for you to learn how to do this. It's time for you to learn how to tie a tie. It's time for you to learn those things that are going to transition you into manhood, not adulthood, but manhood, because they're not the same thing.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, George. You mentioned mentorship because just because we have a male in the house does not mean necessarily a man.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm
You
saying?
have a male, a
You have a
male.
male in the house because the male are gonna say, "Happy life, happy wife. Don't make mom angry." You know,
Yeah.
she push him on the couch. So you know what I'm saying, but never have
Yeah.
that leadership. Kareem, what you want to add to that? I'm glad George brought that up about the mentorship.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I would say too, and I like that. I'm gonna piggyback off that part right there. I know that from firsthand. I was telling the youth today. Ironically, it's weird because I have a position where I'm actually guiding youth in the mentorship program, and I really feel like this. So it's like she hired me. Ironically, can you hear me?
Yeah, we get you.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So she was telling me something. She said I hired you because you had wisdom, not just so much the training, education, and degree and all that stuff, but she said wisdom. And I said, I had never heard nobody ever say they hired me because I had wisdom. And I had been literally been praying for the last couple of years with wisdom. The problem with youth, what my brother was just saying, just piggybacking on what he said, is that young people now do not have wisdom. They don't have the maturity. They don't understand certain things. So they'll go out there, like you could put a gun in somebody's hand. Somebody could shoot, you probably could shoot somebody, but that don't mean he knows how to really use the gun. He can go out there and have a child, right? And have a baby or something. And yesterday this young man said, I gotta talk to you in private. And I said, we had a boys group at my job, and he said, I really need to talk to you. And I said, well, I thought something was wrong. He said, man, he said, I know I heard what you said. And I said, I have 9 boys and I have 2 girls, my wife. And he said, my girlfriend, man, she told me she want to have a baby. I said, how old is you? He said, I'm 16. So I said, do you think that you're mature enough or you have that wisdom or that knowledge and understanding to be able to take care of the child at your age right now? Do you feel like that? Not me, but do you feel like that? He says, nah, I be getting in a lot of trouble. I ain't gonna lie. I be doing things. I ain't got no money. I ain't got this and that. So all those things, and I didn't say I don't care about no money. I don't care about it. I said, but what about the wisdom though? Do you have? Because I've learned uh, over the years is that, like my brother was saying, I don't have wisdom is knowing that you don't know nothing. See what I'm saying? Or you don't have enough understanding. So you got to go to somebody else and get wisdom. If I don't have the understanding how to maybe fix, the engine of a car, I'm gonna go to an auto mechanic. I got people that are around me that maybe understand that or know how to do it. And I'm noticing people doing that with me. And I always wonder, like, wow, they let their kids spend time with my kids and this and that. Well, they were doing that, and for years I never saw the maturity. So I noticed when I saw like, and this not knocking down single parents that like that. And God bless my mother, she passed away, but she did everything she could do from a single parent's perspective. But the biggest thing I saw was she had a lot of wisdom from a mother's perspective, a woman's perspective. But when it came to raising a man, there were certain things that I didn't have. So I was lacking. So what did I do? I started going outside of the house, streets, other people that were not mature. And a lot of times those people didn't even have wisdom either. But because I was looking for it, it was like the blind leading the blind. And because I didn't have the understanding, maturity, and things like that, I often got myself in a lot of trouble. So when I got married at 26, and been married to my wife like 20 some years, and I noticed, I said, it's not up to my wife to raise my sons. And she said, why you say that? I said, because I come from that product. You may not have came from that. And she said, I understand. I said, so now my boys get older, I can tell they're whole. They have a certain, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an aura about them, but there's just certain things that they don't worry about that I was worrying about when I was their age. Like my son, they play basketball, sports, all kind of stuff. They already think it. The way they think is, oh yeah, when I get married, that's the way their conversation is. When I take care of my kids. And when we were younger, I just didn't see that really because I didn't understand. There was no real. Uh, it wasn't like now I'm pouring into my children, pouring into my kids, and my wife's doing what she does. And she's an awesome mother and all that. But we both have our own roles that we do. So now that we have that and we understand God's will for both of us, we don't really overstep one another. My wife had for years had that kind of spirit of, I don't want to say independent spirit, but because her mother has shown her that, and she was raised without a father, she only knew, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I don't need this type of attitude.
Right.
So for years, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pray for her, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem, especially with a lot of young people who are coming up, and young men especially, is that they're being raised by the ideology of their mom is telling them, well, the dad ain't there, he has no input, they don't see a good role model, they don't see men like us. All they see is the guys on the video, the rappers, all this fakeness that's real, it ain't real, but
Yeah.
they don't know it's not real.
It's
That's the
basically,
problem, and that's the
yeah,
problem.
it's basically cartoon. What they worship it.
Yeah.
A lot of it too is men, and you won't hear this that often. When we pick women, a lot of times we make bad decisions.
I'm gonna
I mean,
that
we
up.
really do.
Yes, we do.
I mean, that's part
Yeah,
of
we do.
accountability because, I mean, like my oldest son, his mom was a bad decision, and I paid for it. You know, now with my wife and my younger son, she's a great mom, great mom.
Yeah.
My fiance, who I mean, my stepkid's mom, great mom. So sometimes we have to accept the fact that, especially in terms of fatherhood, when we go through that drama, because I don't like the term baby mama, I like co-parent, but when we go through that drama, we made that choice. We ignored those red flags when we got with that woman. We knew
Yeah.
her history. We knew that she had other kids with other, and she had certain habits, and we just ignored those signs, and we just walked right into that trap, and we set ourselves up for it. And if we do that, we have no one to complain to or blame but ourselves. Just like women,
Right.
you know that guy is no good when you slept with him. You knew he was trifling. Stop complaining. You made the choice. That's part of accountability.
Right.
Instead of worrying about it and complaining about it, learn a way to deal with it. And I would tell fathers this because I went through this and I shed blood and tears and sweat over this. If you're in a situation where you feel like somebody's keeping you from your child, fight for custody because you do have rights. Don't let anyone,
Right.
any woman, any mother make you feel as though she has any more right to your child than you do because you don't. Get you an
That's
attorney and
good.
fight for custody of your kids. Fight to see them.
Let me ask you
Don't
now.
worry about the child support. Fight for the because at the end of the day, the kid don't care about money. Get your time in.
But you know,
Get your time in.
I'm glad you said that, George. I noticed some males, for some reason, they don't. It's like they allow that situation to overtake them. Like you said, get a lawyer and stuff like that. Some of them don't try to do that.
You
It's
know
like,
why?
go ahead.
Right.
We bullied. We lied to because
Yeah.
a lot of these. I mean, I'm not women bashing. I'm just telling you because it's not all women. It's not even most women. It's a very very venomous sick
No.
percentage of women, small percentage of women that make it bad for all women. They sit up here and will tell you, "I'm the mama. I'm gonna get all the rights." That's not true because I can tell you verbatim. That's not how it works because I want custody of my oldest son. So you do have rights. Fight for time for your kids. Fight for your visitation. Pay your child support, take care of your kids, but fight for that time. Because here's the thing: there are a lot of mothers that do this venomous sick stuff, and I'm talking about the very small percentage that do it. Here's the thing they don't realize: the mothers that sit up here and talk against the fathers, the child always is going to end up resenting the mother, not the father, because the child sees what's really going on.
That's right.
The child can see through
Right.
you bashing that child's father. Now, if the father is no good like you say he is, the child already knows that he don't need to hear from you. They don't want to hear from you. They see what's going on. They see who
No.
did what. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that child is gonna resent you. So
Yep.
when you
Yep.
think doing cool points,
Yep.
bashing your child's father in front of that child or to that child, talking about he ain't good, he ain't this, you the one digging your own grave as far as your relationship with your child. Because when that child has kids, it's gonna be
Yeah.
some point they're not gonna want to bring them around you because they're gonna remember that. Think.
Yep.
And I do believe that a lot of
I had
things
to
can go ahead.
instead.
Go ahead, Kareem.
Oh no, I was just saying what he said was exactly right because my mom was saying I don't know if anybody's listening to this, but I remember a lot of times I had never met my father. He's from the island. And because I didn't meet him and I had never seen him or whatever as stepfather, but I didn't see him. So my mom would say, "You acting like your daddy." I'm like, "Well, I ain't never seen my dad before. So is that a bad thing or is that a good thing or what?" Right? So when we women, and I'm not trying to rebuke anybody, I'm just saying if we do have people on there and you've seen people, we got to stop doing that because, like you said, it hurts the relationship that could be or couldn't be. But let that kid have the opportunity or that child have the opportunity to see if their father is really what their mama talking about. But if you saying it, then what it does is, and there's a lot of kids I deal with all the time, and yeah, my dad been in this, he did that and did that, and then you talk to the father, and you're like, wait a minute, oh man, it ain't even all like what they were saying it was. But because they had aughts with each other or whatever was going on, they weren't mature enough to let that go, so it passed on to the child, and a lot of times, for years, my brothers, I had to get that out of me, out of my spirit, so that I wouldn't contaminate my sons and my daughters now. Because if I had let that get in me, then I would be doing, what I'm saying, I would have like a bitter attitude towards my mom for saying certain things. My dad, because my wife actually was a blessing because she actually had reached out to him, and he apologized. As much, I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I was crying. He was crying on the phone. He's like, "I'm sorry. This one went down with your mom, but I'm very, very sorry. This and that." Didn't even know I had like 6, 7 brothers and sisters that I didn't even know about, and God worked that out to be able to do what we had to do. But the thing is, my mother, God bless her, but she wasn't open to what he had to say, and I never knew. So I just always looked at my dad as some kind of monster like that, and that forever can get in the child's heart and his mind. Even if that man is not like that, that'll make that person feel like, man, my dad must have been a really, really bad person because of all the stuff that I've been hearing. And I would always encourage any single parent, or even if you got kids, somebody else, and y'all talking about that person, be careful of what your words, because words can really, really hurt people and can damage
Yeah.
the respect, of everything of that other parent, and you don't know what that's gonna do years from now with that child, because they might grow up like, damn, my mama always talks about my dad or whatever, You know what I'm saying? And it really hurts. It does more damage than it does of good.
And imagine if you're a young boy and you keep hearing how your daddy ain't this and that. Imagine what you're gonna think about yourself.
Right.
Saying
Come
you
on
think
now.
that's my father, and I'm hearing he ain't stuff, and he ain't this, and how he's no good. So what am I gonna think about myself if that's my father? So just think
Wow.
about that. And a lot of people don't understand. You don't have to be with with your co-parent. You don't have to have that relationship. You don't even have to be friends. All you have to do is just meet on common ground as far as your child goes. Because here's the thing:
Right.
you got graduations to go to. You still may have a wedding to
Right.
go to. You still may have, school activities. Hell, you may have a parole hearing to go to together one day. You never know what
Come
may happen.
on now.
But
Wow.
you never know. But that child is gonna need you even through adulthood. How you gonna deal with grandchildren? How you gonna deal with this? So if you plan on having being a part of your child's life, you're gonna have to deal with that co-parent. And you're gonna have to get over yourself if you
Right.
see hurt because you can't be with them, with it, you can't be with them. Okay? If
Right.
y'all together enough to
Right.
raise a child, you need to be together enough to raise that child. And try
Right.
to keep your child support out of the court. Try not to have to do the child support. Try to be mature enough to work out your financial stuff on your own, and try to stay out of the court system, because it really does more harm than good.
Hey, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. I know, like I said, we talking about king mentality tonight. I just pulled up something on my laptop here. I know we're talking about kings, and then I'm reading this. It says, many people think of a king in a negative sense, a tyrant, a ruler, someone who is down on the people, but a real king is a leader. It's a real king doesn't
Right.
look down on other people. He raises them up. A real king doesn't want to control people. He wants the best for all people. He serves the people. So what y'all gotta say about that?
I think that's what we're doing by having this conversation, because we're trying to spread
Yeah.
information, insight to help people. And that's what kings do. Try to help the people. They don't try to just worry about their kingdom. I'm not just worried about my family. I want to help everybody. I'm
Right.
egalitarian. I want the best for everybody. And that's what true kings do. They try to help the kingdom
Yeah.
execute, because by doing so, my kingdom benefits, my family benefits by helping your family benefit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Kareem, you want to add to that? Anything you want to say?
Yeah. And then True Kings, I've looked at. I was studying this about maybe 5 months ago, but I was studying, like King David, and just other kings and rulers and stuff like that, and like Solomon and all that. Solomon always, he wrote the whole book, man, pretty much, of Songs of Solomon. But you can see how much wisdom he got from his father. And I don't know about you, but the Lord kind of put on my heart, that's what I was saying, like, because my mom was doing certain things. Like, my kids don't understand; they don't know nothing about that. But I noticed with program, and with King David had actually had a lot of love for his son, and you could tell by the son admiration that Solomon had for his dad, that he spoke very highly of him. Like a son make a glad father and stuff like that. Like you could tell they was very close, respectful. You didn't hear, and then it said, and King David's wife, which is the mother of Solomon, was talking about him and had, and left and this and that. You don't hear that. You hear a healthy relationship with the father and the son as a king, though. And it wasn't that, it ain't like King David, wasn't that, okay, King David or whatever, it wasn't the fact that King David didn't have a lot of things to do, or like he just, what I'm saying? But it shows that he took time and respect and time and admiration, not only show him about the king's commandments, but also to show him, I'm your father. I'm in your life.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of the Lord kind of showed me, man, about King Solomon, was that he respected his dad because his dad was in his life. That's a lot of times I know fathers, and I like what my brother was saying. A lot of fathers, they ain't with it's like it's out of sight, out of mind, man. When they're not with their the baby mother or whatever, the mother of the children, they done, man. They're through. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that, because it's like you still got responsibilities to take care of this child, and because you do have responsibilities, you have to still take care of this child, and they just be like, well, I ain't with her no more, man. Off to the next, kind of like type attitude. Yeah. And that's why I don't know if y'all have seen that, but a lot of times I talk to different people I know, friends I grew up with, people that I know just, from back in the days or whatever, even in the church. I see people, I'll be like, hey man, they'll be like, yeah, I got 2 or 3 kids, man. They'll be like, oh, I got 8 kids or whatever. I'm like, oh, for real? Okay. And then I'll talk to them and they'll say, yeah, I got 5 baby mamas or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. Bring them to church or something. I don't ever see you around them and nothing like that. Oh yeah, man, me and their mama, we don't get along. What? You don't get along? Okay, well, do you spend time with them? No, I don't even talk to them, man. I don't even talk to them.
So where they come from, they go into they go into the expectation of getting these ladies in bed just to have sex with them. They don't expect the child to come out from the ordeal. They just want to get right in bed. She get pregnant, and now they don't want to deal with the responsibility, and that's what's going on. But it takes 2 willing people to make something work, because she don't have to allow him to do that, but it's in that heat of the moment where it happens. So that's what the problem. They just want to have sex. They don't tend to have a baby to get in the midst of it. So it happens, she just get pregnant. Now the responsibility come in place. He wants to. They don't get along. He don't want to have. And I never understood that, where they just go ahead and disappear out of the picture, not knowing to worry about your child. Like, do you have any remorse? Do you have any sensitivity to what your child may be out there doing, or who your child may be involved with? I just never understood that either. It's like they just go on by life, like it's
like it don't
bother. Man. Like
I can. I mean, when I work with my kids, man, it bothers me. If I don't talk to them every day, it makes me kind of sick. I can't understand that. And a lot of them too, they detach from the kids when the mother stops sleeping with them. That's what a lot of kids too. They hang around the baby mama because the baby mama still sleeping with them. When she decides she gets sick of it, or she gets sick of him, stop sleeping with him, all of a sudden, well, forget you and the baby. And I just can't understand them like that. They don't fight for his kids. I
Right.
just
Yep. Yep.
now to me, just like I'm hard on black men because I know how I fought for my kids and everything I went through, and all the
Mhm.
tears and blood and sweat. So if you a brother out here and you don't do everything to fight for your kids or try to spend time with your kids, I can't respect you. You're not a man to me. You're not
No,
somebody to
me
mess
neither.
with.
Nope.
Well,
Don't come
Me
sit at
neither.
my table trying to talk to me. You didn't
Like
fight for
that.
your kids. Go on.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's just being a male.
Uh-uh.
They're not a man. They're just being a male, and
Yeah, that's not even being a male to me. That's being something else. If you a
that,
flag or something, go on,
Yeah.
bro. You did.
yeah, and I agree with Zach what you're saying. Now I want them going to two. The real it says the real king is fair and honest. He hides nothing from those he serves. He lives in integrity, whether people are watching or not, whether the world will find out of not. He always acts in the best interest of all. What did I say about that?
It's what
Yeah.
you do. Yeah, it's what you do
It's
when
good.
people not
Good
watching.
point.
Because everything
Yeah.
you do will come to light.
Right.
And
Sure
especially
is,
with
man.
social media, because you can't really get away with too much nowadays.
Nah, you can't.
So
No,
No.
you can't. Because people record stuff now on their phone. You don't know who. You gotta be careful out there.
yeah,
What you say, where you
Yeah.
go, what you do. It's just like on these jobs. If you put in a job application, first thing they ask is they ask for your social media site, whether it's
yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They want to know your character. It's all about your character. And that's another thing too. I brought that just came up. Character. I'm hearing the word character.
Yeah.
So like, when you go on a job interview, what they do, they want to know your character. They want to know where
Wow.
you at.
Yeah.
A lot of times we
Yeah.
have not get well. I know Green, you're married, and I know George, you're engaged. But I'm just from a single perspective. Men need to learn to take time out begin to know this individual, know this woman, like an interview type thing. Seeing
Yeah.
is this woman the best qualified candidate to be with you? In other words,
Right.
guys, single guys need to have standards. What I'm saying, that's what I want to say.
and they
Have a
don't.
standard.
Well, we got to get back to what's called a courting process. See,
Yeah.
used to be we would court a woman. Through that process, you would get to know a woman. You would learn a lot about yourself and learn through that process. You would learn what would make the best mate for you. We don't know how to court anymore. It's all about the instant gratification. It's all about hurrying up and trying to get to the end point of what looks like what we think a relationship is, but we don't take our time in court. And until we get back to that, we're not gonna
No.
have quality marriages in our communities. We're not gonna have those bedrocks of relationships that made up the Black community back in the past. Because we just it's too much of an instant gratification society.
Yeah,
We don't want to take our
Right.
time to do nothing. And anything worth having is gonna take time.
right. And it does.
So
That's right.
Like I was saying about the job and anything. You go to a job interview, they're not just gonna hire you right in and there. They're gonna sit you down and
yeah,
ask you questions. They want to see where you at. Are you best qualified for the position? Are you suitable for the position? And they have different other
Right.
candidates they have to interview as well. And then they
Right.
will get together and sit down. And what are they gonna do? A lot of times, if they like you, you have to come back for a second interview before they make their final decision. Because what changed
Right.
back then, you may say something right, but then they come back again, you may say something totally different.
yeah,
So it's not they just gonna
Right.
hey, you hired. So that's what guys have to do. Sit down. This is what I tell any guy. If you take a woman out on a date, don't take out to dinner. Either do tea, do coffee, go do somewhere where y'all can sit down and talk.
how exactly.
And if she don't want to do that, that means she is disqualified. Move on.
Right.
Because she really want to get
Yep.
to know you, she will accept the invitation of saying, "Hey, I like what I see. It's just something about your character. Hey, let's get together for tea, coffee. I just want to sit and talk to you." That's the interview process because I want to know. Because first of all, my last name is on the line, my
Yep.
legacy on the line, and I want to make sure. And I'm not knocking anybody who had kids before, but I want to make sure that I'm having children with the right woman. I'm
Yes.
just talking about. I'm not talking
Wow.
about the one that's already man. I'm talking about for the from a single man perspective, because that plays a role. Like you said earlier, George, it'll bring the divorce rate down
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
guys stop thinking with their private area.
If they stop making their private areas so public.
Right. Stop going
Yeah.
about how fine she is. Oh man, I heard something the other day. I was watching. I listened to this show. I follow these guys a lot, and they really inspire me. They had this guy called in. He was talking about baddies. They be saying baddies now, and the guys was talking. They were like guys that talk from the old school. Like some things talk about your confidence. If you get that woman to submit to you, be there, you got it. No matter how she look. But this guy was like, well, she gotta be a baddie. She gotta have like 100 some thousand, 200 some thousand Instagram followers, and that's the
What?
standard right there. And if you get a woman like that
What?
that has so many followers on Instagram, you get her to submit to you. That means you a bad MF.
Wow.
So
Wow.
basically, you can have a woman. She may not be on the stage of Beyonce or anybody. See, they think that's not getting a woman. You got to have
Yeah,
a woman on that type of status. She got to have like 200,000 over me some followers in order to say that you got a woman.
those sound like some little boys to me. Those sound like some boys.
Mm-hmm.
What you want is somebody that when you, if something happen in life, just say you get paralyzed from neck down. Is that person gonna come wipe your butt? Is that person gonna stick with you?
That's
Is that person gonna
something.
still rock with you? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for
Right.
somebody, if something like that happen to them, I'm still gonna rock with them. All this little
Right.
boy stuff need to go on and go the way of the dinosaur, because
Right.
it's really keeping us black folks broke.
Roger.
It's keeping our pockets
Smoking
messed up
Roger.
and keeping our communities messed up. That's little boy stuff, and we don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah, I mean that stuff
No, we
is all
don't.
about men. We look for compatibility. We look for the woman
Yeah,
that we could be compatible with. But
and
like I said, go
yeah.
ahead.
And I want to say something. I'm in my hometown of Memphis doing, rebranding and stuff. Last week we had a guy on camera on Facebook Live going around shooting folks. We need to seriously deal with our mental health.
Wow.
I don't know if y'all heard about that.
Yeah. We
Yeah, that was in my hometown. That's where I'm at right now. Got here this morning. No, yesterday morning. I'm here to rest and I'm here trying to help my community and help Dallas. We really need to deal with our mental health. And I'm glad we're having this conversation because our relationships are a big part of that.
did.
And a king's
Yeah.
mentality, all of us black men are kings.
Oh yeah, cause matter of
We
fact,
Right.
need to get our heads right. And
yeah,
I'm glad
matter of
we're having
fact.
this
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah,
Go ahead, cause Revelation 1:6 says that we're kings and priests in the earth. You
right.
know, guys, you have to know your identity. Stop basing your identity what
Yeah.
you see on TV or what somebody tell you. Learn your identity for yourself. Learn how to, as men, we supposed to be problem solvers. As
Right.
men, we supposed to know our
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
emotional and we're not feminine, but we solve problems. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
the mom was dealing with y'all, kid with the kids, but
Yeah.
when daddy came
Yeah.
home, order came
Uh-huh.
into place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to understand too, when it comes down to our families, we have to be the one to be this uncomfortable. We have to try to make sure our family's okay. But when it comes down to bearing that weight, it's not easy, but that's part of being a man.
Yeah, I don't
That's
believe
right.
in
Yeah.
go ahead.
I have to deal with situations where if it's meant for me to be the one to go without or to bear any weight, I try to be the one to do it
Yeah,
because that's my role.
but you're the provider. Cause back in the day, the father would actually go without just to make sure his wife and the children were taken care of.
Yeah.
If that'd take him getting like 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, that's what he was gonna do because he knew, hey, I got a family to take care of. Urgency. Yeah,
Right.
urgency. We don't see that. We don't see much urgency in our generation. Now I see a
Right.
lot of some
Uh-uh.
women got urgency, but I don't see none of these guys got urgency about themselves. They don't. They think
Close
once
the
again.
door.
We say, Green.
Oh no, no, I'm listening to you.
Okay, but I was saying it's urgency. Back the fathers had urgency back then. They know how to take care of my family. If that
Yeah.
take me getting
Yeah.
2 or 3 jobs, I was gonna do that to take care of my family.
Right.
In this
Right.
generation, you see a lot of young males allowing once again the mothers, not knocking the mothers,
Right.
but they gonna
Yeah.
have to learn how to let these boys go and be with their dad or get them a male mentor. Not any mentor, because you got some pedophiles out there
Yeah, you
too.
got some,
I
yeah,
want to address that too, because you got some undercovers, disco ducks out there too.
Yeah.
But you gotta be careful of that. But most importantly, if the father is present, fathers need to take up the role. Um, let that biblical code go from your son.
yeah,
Daughters is different, but you gotta realize your son, he gonna have to carry your last name
Yeah.
on to the next generation. Your daughter, she gonna lose your last name. She only got that temporarily because when she married another man, she gonna take on his last name.
Right.
So it's like it's much more responsibility on the
Mhm.
young men now. When especially when you got your father, like I'm a junior,
Me
so
too.
I know the expectations of carrying out my dad's last name. So I had to have that on me as well. So when I have that point to care, make sure the Jackson last name go out long term as well. So that's very important to them too. So you gotta be careful and
Right.
be wise on what you get involved in because that's something we don't really think about.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say too, and I know we were talking about men a lot and kings and stuff like that. Every morning, uh, hello.
Yeah, we
All right. So every morning, my hours have changed from 10 in the morning to about 6, so I can take my girl and drop her off at school. So every morning, I remember my sister didn't really have that either. Nobody was, there was no male. I was her brother, but I'm not her father.
right,
So she
right.
didn't have much, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and I'm seeing that. Even I don't know why the Lord just kind of touched my mind, or I was just looking at it from that standpoint. In other nationalities, not saying that, like my brother said, you got to take care of, your own first before you start really helping everybody else. And, your own background is not where it needs to be. But I
Mm-hmm.
noticed that for other nationalities taking care of the kids, they spending time with them, taking them to the games,
Oh, yeah,
taking to where they got to go. We didn't get that, right? So
right.
as I was talking to somebody about that, this guy, he was in jail. I think he was in like 20 something years, man. He was a good friend of mine. And I knew him, and he was like, "Man, I wish I had." He said, "I like what you're doing, Ray." He was like, "Man, you taking care of your kids and you married, man. I wish I could have that one day, right?" He had just got out of jail, and we were talking about it. And as I was saying, my daughter and stuff, I was like, every morning, I'm glad I'm able to get my daughter to school. I always call her. I said, "You my little princess," and I'll use words to encourage her and to speak life into her, just like my son. Y'all are kings and priests. I'll be literally saying that to them every day, even if they feel like, because the world, for some reason, I was talking to a young man today, man. When I called them kings, me and the brothers in the studio today, they looked at him, they turned around like they called me a king, like they couldn't even understand why we were calling that, because nobody calls them that. Everybody calls them something else, but they don't get called and affirm and confirm in their spirit that you are a king and priest, and God made you perfect in His image, right? But a lot of men don't. Especially a lot of young men, are not doing that. Even with the guy that just got killed, the rapper, I forgot his name, out there in L.A. PMT, I think PMB, I think it was. Anyway, he got shot and killed. Just senseless murders because another man is working, taking care of what he got to take care of. He with his children's mother. He earned that money, but yet somebody else didn't want to get some money and work and go earn and go get their own money. They had to rob him and take what's his and murdered him
Right.
just to get what he had. And it's the mentality of, like, my kids see me working, they see us, all of us work, got my own business and stuff like that, different things that we do. It ain't just sitting around like, okay, well, I guess my wife's gonna take care of everything. You got this. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mentality, especially now I moved to Ohio. It has been a very strong spirit of, uh, especially, I don't know what it is with young black men, but it just seems like they're okay with the woman going to work and doing
Right.
what they got to do to take care. And I don't understand it. I have a real conviction
Well, you know,
about,
I'm sorry.
about that. Yeah, go
Well, I
ahead.
see that all the time myself. It's real bad. It really is.
Well, when they removed the father out of the home, what you had was a generation of black boys that were pacified and spoiled by a mother who did not know how to raise a male. So you have a couple generations of black males who were emasculated and feminized into a certain way of thinking, to a certain degree, myself included, until I went through some things and had to fight myself out of that way of thinking into the way I am now. So yeah, I can see
Mm,
where they came from. It was a generational thing, and now we have a certain trend too, where we have a segment of some women, a minority, a very vocal, venomous minority, because I'm not saying all black women, because it's definitely not all, that love to emasculate black men, especially when it comes
Mm.
to things like expressing our feelings. That's why a lot of times in relationships we don't share our feelings with our women and don't communicate, because as soon as some gets mad or some get serious, it's all, yeah, you were crying about this and how that hurt you and stuff. So why would we share? You know,
Mm.
it's popular now to call a black man the B word. You shouldn't call anybody the B
Yep.
word. It's cool to
Oh.
emasculate a man. So I mean, what do you think you
Wow.
do? You know, you got a couple
Wow. Good
generations of
point.
men raised by women who, despite their best efforts, cannot raise a man.
No, they
Not in
can't.
every instance, but you can't. You know,
Right.
a
Mind
dog
you,
can teach a bird how to fly, no matter how hard it tries.
right. And it's on a certain thing that you do. And that, like I said, they're not making it no better themselves because you have some women, I don't say women, some females who play that role into it. That's my baby. Okay, your baby getting in trouble, but you still go down there to the jails and prisons, put money on his books, they feel like he is okay and it's not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's still my baby. Okay, your baby
Wow.
locked up. Your baby broke the law, but that's still your baby though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I've been my oldest son 17. He bipolar. That's the one that the mother has caused a lot of problems. I fought for him for custody all his life. He turned 17, decided he don't want to listen. You know what I did? I put his ass out.
Right.
Doing no more. He got to bump his head and learn on his own.
Yeah.
Love him to death. Love him to death. But at some point, you got to man up and do it on your own. You
I
can do
agree.
it way where you got support. You got a father with a lot of black men don't have. You had everything, every advantage I could have given you, son, but if you still don't want to listen, you got to follow that rite of passage and get that manhood, get that learning on your own. And mama still trying to do all that. Hey, then hey, you want to fall up out to your mama, then let her make you a man, because I tried.
And
And
you did
sometimes you
right.
gotta put them kids off.
Yeah, you did
Everybody,
right.
yeah,
You did
folks
right.
like, man, you wrong for doing that. Hey, what you want me to do? He's 17 now.
Yeah. I mean, you know right from wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
He know right from wrong. You know, I don't understand why people. That's wrong with our generation now. Everybody want to put the say. Everyone call good evil, evil good. You put
yeah.
your foot down, you wrong. If you don't put your, oh, you doing it. No, no, no. That's the problem. Now, that's why our jail system, our prison system, are filling up right now today of brown of the black and brown people. I'm just saying it out there because of this kind of mentality that we have. You know, going down. Okay, if you shoot, if you going, you were scared to go to jail growing up, but you know what? You ain't worried about what the police were gonna do. You
Yeah,
worried about what dad and all them were gonna do to you. But
right.
now they are like it's something to be glorified, and it's not. You know, people going down and ask for money to bail your child out of jail. First of all, he ain't no business breaking the law anyway.
No,
But they going around begging for money, getting this and up, getting that up, punting this stuff, selling this stuff off,
quit losing your houses.
lose your houses because he out there he broke the law and he don't show up for court, you lose everything.
And- and
And I see this in our generation all the time, and I see it within our community all the time, and it's sad, like, and it's really is sad.
You can
But
get out of jail and get more accolades than you do graduate.
yeah, I mean these folks be going all out for them. They pay for their lawyer fees. They get together and it's ridiculous all out for them.
Yeah,
And that's why they got that handicap mentality. That's why they never learn anything. They never learn their lesson because they know she gonna take care of me regardless of the fact, even though I may took someone else's life or I assaulted somebody or I raped somebody, they still gonna look out for me.
yeah.
Ain't learned nothing.
And they don't understand all they doing is feeding the machine, because by them being incarcerated, they're just feeding an economy of privatized prison. The reason so many prisons are put in the rural areas is not only because of the fact that this provides jobs for those communities, but it helps voting districts for more conservative areas. There's that. So all you're doing is feeding the economy, so you want to be basically human cattle. You're subject to slave labor. You're subject to so many things. Compromise healthcare, compromise lifestyle afterwards, because you can't keep you keep making the same mistakes and fall into the same trap because, and then you want to come out and whine about the white man. There's some, and this is why I bring it up. I'm in my hometown. Memphis has its own unique mentality. Okay. I'm sure other cities have it, but I can only speak of where I am.
Right.
Even men I respected here will whine about the white man is the white man that. And I'm glad we starting to get away from that and understand we can only solve our own problems. Because here's my thing about racism. It exists. We know it exists. If we keep walking past the same dog and get bit, that's our fault. There are ways for us to circumvent and maybe even find ways to capitalize and not have it be such a barrier on us. But until we address our issues first and what we're doing to impede our own progress, we won't make any inroads as far as any real racial or really any real equality because we're hamstringing ourselves so much, you know, in terms of our relationships, our mental health, our economic sense, even the things we consume, even because if you look at certain black segments of social media, it's so antagonistic and so self-hating. You know, it's also so much the crabs in the bucket mentality. You know, and it's so bad. It's like, you know, once, you know, we can't lift each other up. You know, and we do more damage than anything. Each other. And you can trace that back to Jim Crow, you can trace that back to slavery. That's what it really seemed like it all started.
But I know going to where we at as being men, you know, being kings, you know, part of our kingship is to raise people up around us. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Especially our own family. You know what I'm saying? We should be inspiration to our families. You know what I'm saying? You should be inspiration to your wife. You should be inspiration to your kids. As king, we supposed to uplift everybody that we come in contact with. It's like, if you're gonna be that franchise player or you just a role player. If you're a franchise player, you anywhere you go, you gonna make everybody else look good. It's gonna elevate their game. A role player just gonna go along the road. But having that mindset of being a franchise player, that means everywhere I go in life, whether it's my place of business, my place of employment, or wherever I go, I'm gonna uplift somebody some form of fashion, regardless of the fact. And that's what we as kings supposed to do. We're supposed to uplift and raise up everybody to that standard. As men, we should have standards. We should have standards as men. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, being as like you said, Kareem, you taking your daughter to school. I respect that because she needs to see, but as being a father to a daughter, she needs to see what a man is. So when she get older, she know what to expect from a man and not from any other male who calls themselves woman because they got a penis. And I know me and a friend of mine was talking, you know, back in the day, when you asked to marry, first of all, when you asked to marry a girl, you had to go talk to her father first. And he gonna ask you some real serious questions. He was gonna ask you how you gonna provide for her. It wasn't how she gonna provide for you. It was like how you gonna provide for her. Because this ain't no you just wanna marry her just for sex. He looking at long term. Hey, this is my daughter. Oh yeah, I'm gonna hand off to you, but I gotta make sure she is in safe, secure atmosphere.
Right. And to piggyback even on that, brother, is that's a part of the problem too. Like some of the young ladies don't know. The Lord been dealing with as well because my mother, although her father was around, he had left, and she was really young. So that kind of like it helped her to a point, but then he left. So whatever went down, I don't know what my grandpa, I don't know why he left or whatever. I don't know the story about that, but that curse was pretty much pronounced because after he left, then my mom did, she went through the same stuff and didn't have a husband, whatever, and whatever they went through, and then had me, and it's like it keeps going on. I've seen what was going on with my friends, family, within our race as a whole. And because God put on my heart, I saw the generational curse. I could see it for what it was worth. I was seeing young men
that were going through certain things. They didn't want to stick around. Like, well, I want to be with her, but this woman, you know what I'm saying? Just I can see, she just like you said, they have this spirit of let's tear down. Not all women, it's like you said, it's a small portion, but I have heard even my like certain people in my family, nieces included, say things like he ain't nothing, he ain't about nothing, he ain't got no money. That's the first thing they say. They don't talk about his character. They don't talk about his integrity. They don't talk about he go to work, this and that. It's about he ain't got no money. He ain't with the rappers got. He ain't what they got. And they looking at them, and I'm trying to tell them, because I'm in music. I know a lot of these guys, man. They really, sisters and women out there, they don't have money.
No.
They're not really getting money. That's all a facade. A lot of that stuff is not really real. Because I see, and they don't have the money, and it's just something that like a facade. So the women, the young women especially, are feeling like, yeah, you know what, I want to be with this person, but I'm like, well, who is that person though?
Right.
Who really is that? If we really like dissected that, who is that person that you're really looking for, or that you think that you want? Because that man ain't the one you really want. Like you said, he ain't gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? When you get old and you can't even walk, or you a paraplegic or whatever, you can't even do that. They're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? That person might not be around. And a lot of them, because they don't know how to be able to weather the storm, like back in the days, daddy walked, grandpa and them walked, 5 miles back and forth to work to get some milk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For their family. They wasn't talking about, man, I gotta go to work in the morning, man. Brother Frank, I gotta go to work tomorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? And you in a car. But these men was driving. I remember the stories my grandma was telling me in Alabama, where a lot of our family is from, Alabama and Texas.
Okay.
And they were telling me some crazy stories, man, about what they had to go through, kicked off their land and stuff that I ain't never even thought about, because I didn't know that history. But when I started digging deep into the history of what they had to go through, she said, and your grandpa had this, and your grandpa had to do that, and all this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all 85, 90 years old, right? And that, even though it might have been a long time ago, but you got these kids that's like 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and they don't even want to stick around before baby born. They're already trying to impregnate somebody else.
Right.
And it's like, what happened where the disconnect of wanting that bond that they had? I mean, people, they was telling me, my auntie and my great auntie was telling me, look, man, that was like despised or looked down upon if you wasn't taking care of your kids. Like almost a sin, almost. The way I heard them talking was like, okay, I could deal with that, because that's the way I talk. But
Yeah.
we're 60, 70 years down the line, and all of a sudden, you see young men, they're like, man, like I talk to young people today, I ain't gonna be married to nobody. Shoot, I'm just gonna have 4 or 5 baby mamas. I'm like, wait, hold up. We're not finna do that. I'll be shutting them down. You are not going to have 4 or 5 different baby mamas. You either gonna get married to one, or don't have no children with them or something. But this cannot keep happening, because it's really destructive for our race.
Right.
Ain't nobody else doing stuff.
Right. What's the guy's name? Nick Cannon or something?
Yeah,
Having all the babies. They acting
Yeah.
like this cute. Shows like Mom and stuff like that. It's just.
Get Nick Cannon, old goofy looking dude.
They can't.
And and it's gonna be sad to see how those kids gonna turn out. Because
Wow.
they not gonna turn out great. They
Well,
just not. I just don't see it.
well,
Yeah.
Nick, let me tell you about Nick Cannon. He ain't never sell out anyway.
Yeah, I know.
He made some comments on a podcast that the other networks didn't agree with. They cut his show. You had other artists come to him and say, had their own network, and say, hey man, we'd love to put your show on our network. Man, Nick Cannon went right back to them other folks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He went right
That's
back
not
to
good.
other folks.
Well, I'm telling you right now, them kids, and he gonna have so much trouble it's gonna probably start soon with those women that he's procreated with, and with those kids, it's gonna be a mess, and he gonna end up all kind of in court, in trouble. Those kids gonna have issues.
Yeah.
He out there being a damn fool.
And he ain't.
Wow.
Because those kids are not getting their attention. They're not getting their one-on-one time. I don't care how much money you got. You got to be a father.
I agree.
And not just
1,000%.
1,000%.
1,000%.
Being a father takes
Wow.
time being involved. So
Yeah. But do they actually understand what fatherhood really is? Do they?
No, they don't.
It's more than just telling
Right.
I'm a pappy now, I'm a daddy now. But you have to prepare this child for life. I ain't talking about
Right.
education. I'm talking about life skills. Help the child develop a work ethic. Help the child develop uh, responsibility. You name it. Preparing the child for life, so the child's not gonna be a baby forever. The child bitch gonna grow up, so that they understand what fatherhood is. It's not about knocking a woman up and bragging about it that I got her pregnant.
Some people think fatherhood is knocking a woman up, bragging about it, and wearing matching outfits on your every other weekend when you see them, and that's good enough and paying your child support. That ain't fatherhood. And the problem is we have no respect in this country for fatherhood, and that doesn't just go for black fatherhood, it's fatherhood in general.
And some
We,
on
we
Yeah.
don't respect fatherhood. We
and
don't
I ain't gonna
respect
lie,
manhood.
some on don't need to reproduce anyway. I see some of these cats. Some of these cats, I be like, who laid up with you? Like, I
Mhm.
want to, because it's like you ain't. The elevator don't go all the way upstairs or something.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
they quickly call themselves a man. Like
It ain't
some of
meant for
y'all don't need to
everybody to have
reproduce.
kids. It's not meant for everybody to have kids. I mean,
Yeah, I'm just being.
it's
Yeah,
just
some
not.
people don't need to reproduce at
They
all.
really don't. They really don't. Some people just don't have, everybody doesn't have a parental instinct about them. I've seen some women that have no maternal instinct that I wouldn't give a plant to. And there's some guys that just have no paternal anything. And the people that recognize it and choose not to have kids, I respect that, because you saying,
Right.
I can't throw the touchdown pass, so I'm not even gonna get in the game. But it's some
Right.
people that go there and choose to for different reasons. People choose to have children for different reasons, not just because they want a child. They do it to try to hang on to somebody. That's the
Yep.
worst thing you can do. People that
Yep.
stay together for the kids, that's the dumbest thing you can do. Anybody that stay
Yeah.
together for the kids, all you doing is screwing your kids and screwing yourself up. Do
That's
not
right.
ever stay together for the kids.
Come on.
Never works. Never will work.
Yep.
Never has worked. The only
Yeah.
thing please is getting your kids screwed up and making you
Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah, because they see what's
Right.
going on behind closed doors. They see the bickering. They see the
Yeah, you not
division.
hiding nothing from your kids. If you cheating on your husband, your
Right.
kids know. Even if your husband don't know, your kids can tell what you doing. They know mama don't wear that shaved lipstick. They know mama get off at 4:30, not 6:30. They know that. You not hiding anything from your kids. So don't ever
True.
think that.
A lot of
So
them be
that's
taking.
why
A lot of them be taking the kids over there when they messing around.
that's some scumbag stuff. I know people that do that. That's some scumbag stuff. The kids laughing at you. Yeah, mama think he's
Yeah.
slick. I'm
No,
gonna
it's
go
true,
tell,
man. It's true.
because when your kid turn around and blackmail you, don't say nothing. Nah, I want some
Wow.
V-Bucks. I'm telling tell mama, because you got some slick kids out here. You're not getting nothing past your kids. They know everything.
Done.
Yeah, they be taking their kids along with them over there.
Yeah, because when your kids turn 21, all they're gonna do is come back and say, when you was 11, you thought you was getting away with this, daddy. I knew what you was doing. That's all they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just auntie. You call her auntie. You call her,
Yeah.
call her auntie.
Yeah.
The
Right.
cousin
Right.
said
Hey,
that.
yeah. Yeah. Hey, I want to throw this at y'all, Furman and both, my brother. So the young man yesterday, we had the boys group, and he said, I was kind of shocked that his thinking. I don't know, he's 16, but a lot of them think like this. I don't know where this came from, but it's still the mentality of I'll just have a whole bunch of babies. I don't have to be with any of them, but I'll just have a whole bunch of babies. But I had to stop him. I'm glad God put me in the right position to be able to speak to him in his life, because I know that's what he needed. He says, he said, we said, look, you can tell us anything you want to talk about, we could talk about it. Just as boys, about 9 boys, it was 4 adults. So he said, okay. So I was surprised to raise their hand. So I got something private to talk to. So 2 of them said, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I said, what you want to talk to me for? They said, I said, I really want to talk to you. He said, I got an issue with my girlfriend, and she said that she want to have kids. I said, and that's when I told him, I said, look, man, I don't know, you don't got no wisdom in it like that. But as he's talking to me and speaking to me and stuff, and I could hear what he was saying in his voice, he was very, very not adamant, but he was kind of like fearful, like, man, I could make the wrong mistake and I might not be able to really, get out of this. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I told him, I said, look, man, and as this as a regular, I'm not your father, I'm not an uncle, nothing. I'm just, somebody working, I'm a mentor.
I said, but you know, I want to make sure that you can get things, you know, you live out your life, man. You still got to go to school, you got to graduate. You know, you want to go to school. I heard some of your plans. You know, give yourself some time to just finish the goals and the things that you said you wanted to do. Not what she said, but what you said that you wanted to do. And if she's still with you and all that, she either gonna respect the fact that you are being mature enough to say, I'm not ready for no kids at no 16 years old, 15 years old, or she gonna be like, I just want to have a baby. Because I said, man, that's one thing you do not want to have. And I've been talking to a few of these young ones, man, these young ladies, just for them too. And some of my young brothers is right. Some of these women just want to have babies. And I don't know what's going on, where the shift went, but it went from, you know, I don't want to be with him or whatever, and then now it's like I just want to have kids, and they leave the man, and now they are becoming more into the what's that community, with the LGBT community or whatever, and
Yeah.
they have a lot of women who are, because I deal with them, and when I'm witnessing to them and stuff, and there's a lot of them who are now the young woman that has a child. She's now with another woman, and now that woman is trying to be the man. So I was like,
I have
how,
dealt with that situation
you know
in
what I'm
specific.
saying? Like,
I dealt with this
woo.
situation in particular in one instance.
Oh man.
So the thing about that is that ain't nothing new. It's really, really not. Is really, really not the best thing on that or that whole situation altogether. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't lay down with a woman unless you go into it with this mindset. If you're gonna lay down a woman, lay down with it, lay down with her, thinking I may have end up with a child with this person. Okay, even if you use protection, no matter what, just go into it with this mindset. Do I want to deal with this person for the rest of my life?
Mm,
Just go into it
yeah.
with that mindset, no matter what. And then let that guide other things on your person, and you make better decisions.
Right.
Just think about that, because there's you never know what might happen. How many children are quote unquote unplanned or spur of the moment? If you just take the extra minute
Mm,
to think and think about the person you laying down with, and think about what do you know about this person? How do they deal with people? Do they already have kids? Do they already get along with their child's parent? What is they really think about those things before you even get in the heat of the moment? When you talking to this person and
yeah.
things, man,
Yeah.
she don't really do nothing all day. Okay, well, if she ain't got no ambition, what do I want with her?
Mm.
So how would she?
Mm,
If I had a child with her, could I trust her with my child?
Yeah, I'm glad. You know what?
uh,
You hit, you hit on some stuff there. In other words, that you basically is you sit down and consider the cost. Basically,
mm,
in so many words. Remember that was Will's. Remember Christ said, "Have you sit down and consider the cost?"
right.
A lot of times we don't sit down and think things through. We just go ahead and go along with the motion, and then with our head against the wall, we like, oh snap, what I went wrong at? Cause we
Yeah,
have
Right.
not sit down and consider the cost. Like, and I'm glad you brought that up, George. Thinking, do I want to be with this woman? What is she? Is she either gonna be is she gonna be, what is the word? Is she gonna be assets or is she gonna be a liability?
yeah,
We don't
Yeah.
go through that mentality. We just go along with our emotions. We go along because we get a hard on because
right,
she said something. She took you a certain way. You just think with that wrong head,
yeah,
and then you lay with her and you get in the world of trouble. And then especially for the young, first of all, 16 years old, that should never came out of his mouth. And for
Right.
one, he should shut her down in the beginning with
Right.
that and let them know, don't even bring that to me as well also. And then that other thing what they're doing is they get government assistance from that. You
Mm,
know, they get like food stamps, government assistance,
yeah. They
housing,
straight.
all that stuff. That's why a lot of them do that jump up. Cause they know they get government assistance. Cause they realize, cause they know, and I'm saying all of them, but they come from that poverty stricken area. Because
mm,
either they mom and them did it, they grandma and them did it. Have you ever noticed in the poverty stricken areas, they all live in the
They're the
same
same.
environment?
It's
Grandma,
generational.
your generation.
mm,
Mom and them live in the same community. Grandma live in the same community. Ain't mama ain't been married, grandma wasn't married, and so it trickles on down to the daughters.
Mhm.
Because
Wow.
if they get married, it cuts off all government assistance.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
So that's
yeah.
why these young men have to be careful who they lay up with. Just
Or
because she wear the go ahead.
or you have a lot of people trying to secure their legal status.
Yeah.
There's something new that I've noticed that happened a lot with us. We have a lot of
Wow.
I'm not trying to cast anybody in an ill light, but there's something I notice a lot. We have a lot of young women from, from different backgrounds trying to secure their legal status through marriage and having children and things like that. So, that's something we have to be cognizant of. But you're right. We have to start thinking with our head on our shoulders before we get down to the head below our belt line and think of these things. So when we do get in those situations, we already got a plan. Like, this not the one I need to be with.
Right.
This is what I need to avoid. Not only protect ourselves, but so we don't end up with another generation of children that are affected by unstable relationships. And
Right.
that way we have another, we protect women too from being, injured and being in bad relationships, because we
Right.
have to be honest with ourselves. We have to say, look, I know me. I'm not ready for this.
Mm.
I don't have the maturity to deal with raising a child, because you have to deal with a crying child. You have to do the same thing the mother does. The only thing we don't do that a mother done, because I'll tell you what, I'm gonna bring this up because this really made me mad the other day. I saw a post on Facebook before I got off that said, uh, daddies can quit, but mothers can't. And I kind of roasted the person. I'm
Mm.
like, how dare you say that? Because I don't know, just because you made a bad decision with who you laid down with. I'm a father. I can never quit. I never quit.
No, we can't.
And that offended me,
No.
because that if that's perception, then we got a lot of people making a lot of stupid decisions.
That's
And
right.
it just illustrates the lack of respect for fatherhood.
That's right. Yep.
And that's why we have instances. That's part of the reason that we have instances like we had in my hometown the other day, where we got a person, and I don't know the reason why they did it, went around on camera shooting people and killing people. But this ties into it some kind of way, mental health wise, drug wise, whatever the reason, is some element that ties into what we talk about on some level,
Right.
Wow.
somewhere.
Wow.
And that's part of the problem when you have the attitude that somehow fathers are undervalued, fathers are not important, and fathers can quit, but mothers can't. How dare you? You
I
didn't
That's
make
agree
right.
it
with
by
that.
yourself.
No, I
You
That's
didn't
agree
right.
with
raise it
that.
by yourself.
But
That's
these
right.
but these guys gotta
Wow.
understand that
Wow.
you just can't be spreading your seed around everywhere you go.
No, that's some little boy stuff. That's some insecurity. That's feminine to do that, because that comes from a place of insecurity. I got to feel like a man. I'm so insecure in my manhood. I got to spread my seed to prove that I'm worth something. That's
Right.
insecurity. That's weakness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When a man got
Mm-hmm.
to sleep with a whole bunch of women and brag about it,
Right.
that's insecurity. That's fear. That's weakness. That's feminine. That's small. See, we got
Yeah.
our sense of masculinity all screwed up, because you know why? We let the wrong people define what masculinity and manhood
That's
is.
right. That's
Women
right.
define. We let white folks define what black masculinity is.
That's right.
We got to work on ourselves to find who we are and stop looking for other people to tell us who we are and what we should do.
Right. You gotta learn. I agree. You gotta learn your identity.
I
Right.
agree.
That's why I tell, especially guys, especially single guys. If you, this is why I tell any guy, if you move out from your mom and them house, get a place of your own.
That's right.
Don't move in with a woman. Don't get roommates. Learn how to live by yourself.
That's right.
I know it's women when they move out from mom and them house, they get a place of their own.
Shoulder.
When a guy move out, now I got some guy move out, they moving in with a woman, or they moving their homeboy, but never had that experience on living on their own.
Yeah.
Now I see guys like that, they don't want to live their own. Learn how to live your own. Learn how to have your own place. Cause I'm gonna tell you, if you move in with a woman, she's not gonna respect you, dog. She's not gonna respect you because first of all, your name is not on that lease. Your name is not on that mortgage. Your name is not on that period. Her name. She's not gonna respect you at the end of the day. It's best for you to get your own place in your own name, pay your own bills, your own name, and be more responsible for yourself. And why? And I know, Joy, you mentioned that I think you said about 25, correct? When the guy should get in a relationship, you said in your opinion should be like 25.
I'm not serious till about 25. I just don't they living together and stuff to you about 25. Because my thing is, if your name ain't on the lease, why you laying your head there? If it's not your place, why you laying your head there? You need to have your own stuff. If you live, at
Right.
least have your name, at least it be your place. You know what I'm saying? So that going to live with another woman, I've never ascribed to that as a man. No.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
believe a guy should have his own place.
Yeah.
Have your own place, make your own money, take care of yourself. Because
That's
really,
right.
she's supposed to move in with you. Well, first of
Yeah.
all, if you're gonna be married, she's supposed to be moving in with you, not you moving in with
That's right.
her. That's just so backward. It really is. Because
It is.
so I just tell the guy, man, get your own place first. I live my own. I live by myself. I don't have nobody living with me. I live
Right.
by myself. Why? Because they give me time to know who I am. They give me
Right.
time to teach me how to take care of myself. So I
Mhm.
take care of myself better. So when she does come in the picture, I know exactly what to do because it becomes second nature to me. I take care of myself. So I
Yeah.
tell any guy that, man, get your own place first. Learn how to live your own first. Learn how to establish your life first. Like you were saying earlier, Joe, learn yourself first.
Yeah.
Get a
And it goes
mentor.
for
You know what I'm
women
saying?
too.
Nothing wrong with mentorship. Get your mentor. There's plenty of good mentors out there to help you along
Right.
the way. And with a real mentor gonna hold you accountable. A real mentor is not gonna play with you. A real mentor is not gonna cuddle with you and tell you it's gonna be okay. A real mentor is gonna get in your butt like a father. So there's nothing wrong with having a mentor.
Right.
Mentorship is good. Find your good mentor to help you along the way. So anything y'all want
That's
to
right.
add? Anything y'all want to implement on that? I know the mentor thing did come up earlier.
Yeah, the same thing goes for our
Yeah.
women too. You know, women need to be mentored. Women
Yep.
need to go through rites of passage in
They
the
do.
same as our men, as we as men do. And but I think on a certain level, we need to do it separately and then try to come together. So, as
That's
men,
right.
our own unique place and our own place of solitude, separate and exclusive from women, to where we can come together and do things in our own way, just as women do, and then we can come together and work on things on a common platform. And I just think that exclusivity is important, and it's not done to be in any way rude or to negate the influence that women have with us. But we have to work on things as individuals first, and that's important because we've never
Yeah.
done it. We've never taken a step back. We've always tried to deal with bigger issues instead of dealing with taking is step one.
Right.
We want to deal with the
Right.
racial issue in this country, but we got to deal with the black issue first before we
Yeah.
can make it a
That's
black and
right.
white issue.
Well, biblically
Right.
wise, it says that it says the older women supposed to teach the young women how to love and respect their husband and children. So you have to have that older woman teach the
Yeah,
younger
good. Thank you
women.
very much.
It's like you have to have the older man teach the young man
Right.
in order to pass on the wisdom and stuff they did what Green was doing for their young man as well. So this stuff plays a role, but I believe that is some changes transpiring. There are men waking up now to get in their rightful
Right.
place, so we could be able to lead the family structure the whole lot way. And most important, like you said, learning ourselves, learning what a man is. I'm going to read another thing too. It says
Okay.
the real king doesn't envy anyone because he is secure in who he is. The
Mm.
real king compares himself to no one because he knows we all are unique and individual. All men have king energy within them, but very few bring that energy into this world. You may not be the king of a country, but you can bring the king energy to those you love every single day. You bring the king energy to all those you come in contact with in your home, in your workplace, and in your community.
Right. Right.
But I just want to get back to the point where it says that it said the real king doesn't envy anyone because he is secure in who he is.
Right.
It said the real king compares himself to no one because he knows we all are unique and individual. I want to go back to that first point when it says the king doesn't envy anyone because he's secure in who he is. What do you want to say about that, Joe? Like Ashley came up earlier.
The thing I will say about that, when you go through certain things in life, I think when you find purpose as a man, that's when you can truly stop comparing yourself and stop really looking at other people. You start looking at yourself because you found your own purpose. You become focused on what you're doing, and you notice you'll start comparing yourself to where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's not so much about what the next person is doing. And when you can do that, you start to see more progress. You start to see where you become more wise. Like I'm going through somewhere now where I'm really seeing my faith and my patience grow, because once I found my purpose, I was able to focus on what I did. So a lot of that, those feelings, like I don't envy anyone else. I don't, I don't judge other people as competition. And I think that makes me a better person, because now I'm really focused on, as a man, whatever I come into, I try to leave it better than what I found it. That goes from
Right,
people, places, and everything. And to me,
right.
that's what a true king's mindset means.
Yeah, and I agree. And like I said, in my own personal life, is no, I end up doing life insurance, about life insurance policy. I'm thinking
Mhm.
long term. I end up doing like another retirement thing. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about my own family one day. I'm working on having structure in my own life. That's the most important. Having structure, having order, training the mind. You know, I had this written in my notes. Um, we train our mind, the body will follow. So I have to train the mind first. So I have to change the way I think about certain things, how we do certain things. Most important, structure. As men, we should have structure in our life,
Mhm.
discipline in our life. You know, we should have that firm foundation and not be all over the place, not being not being tossed to and fro.
Yeah,
No, I'm over here one day, then I'm over here the next day, but not come to that common ground.
yeah,
Health wise, you know, I'm 40 years old. I work out with Shay. I make sure I'm drinking plenty of water. Make sure I eat right. That plays a role as a man too, taking care of our bodies. Especially when you start to hit 40, you
yeah,
definitely serious. You really seriously want to take care of your body, take care of your health. It's so much stuff as a man that we have to really progress in on a regular basis. You tell you guys that don't worry about a woman. That's another thing. Some of these guys, George, they single. They want to look. They gotta get in a relationship so bad.
yeah. So bad.
Get in a relationship with yourself first. Be married to yourself first. Work on you first. You know, like I mentioned earlier, you got these YouTubers telling guys, "Give your purpose. You gotta get a certain status for you get a woman." If you're gonna make money, like I said earlier, if you're gonna make money for you. If you're gonna work out, do it for you. You want the nice car, do it for you. You want the nice clothes, do it for you. Don't do it just to impress a woman.
Yeah, because if you got to
Like,
do all that to get a woman, she ain't yours anyway.
and that.
You know.
That's what I love about you. That's what I love about James Bond. I got James Bond novels, and James Bond, he's so cool with it. If you look at James Bond, he never made it about a woman. He
Right.
never made it about a woman. He about his mission. He about his assignment in life. I'm glad, guys, get your mission and get your assignment in life. Focus on your mission and your assignment. Don't worry about a woman. It's not about the women.
Yeah.
They gotta get. It's not about the women. Trust. I'm gonna tell you this. When you about your that right woman gonna come along. Let me tell you this. Women love leaders. That's why the girls was always attracted to the bad boys. Even though the bad boy would do stupid stuff, you know why they were attracted to the bad boy? Because the bad boy was a leader. He didn't care what nobody thought about him. He demanded respect. That's why she felt secure around the bad boy. There's nothing wrong with being a good guy, but if you soft, she gonna run over you.
Yeah.
She wants a leader. She wants you to put your foot down. If that means no, baby means no, and she like that kind of stuff. But if you come to being a yes man, she's not feeling you, dog. She's not feeling you, and she's not gonna respect you.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys they make it about women. It's not about women, like you mentioned earlier. Get yourself together. Work on you. You know what I'm saying? Don't get stuff for a woman.
Yeah. And have you a purpose, have you a drive, have you something that makes you get up every day and do something.
Yeah,
Don't have more than just a job where you go punch a clock. Have something that really motivates you and
right,
compels you, because that in itself will attract people, not just women, but other people that'll help you toward you.
right. Become an interesting person. You know,
Yeah.
become an interesting person. Learn different things, and that's another thing. We have to get out of our neighborhoods. Stop getting. What we do, we go around the same type of people.
People
Learn how
every
to
day.
get out your neighborhood. Learn to go to different places to learn different cultures and learn different backgrounds about. Become an interesting individual.
Yeah. Be
Cause what
more
we
than
do,
what's around you.
yeah. Cause what we do, we stay in our same neighborhood. We stay around our same environment, and we never branch out. Learn how to branch out, fellas. You know, we talking about king mentality. A king, first of all, a king is secure in himself. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? A king, he raised everybody around. A king know who he is.
that's
We're gonna
right.
say that. A king knows who he is. A king don't
Mhm.
worry, he's not insecure. He's not worrying about what people think about him. He knows
Nope.
his role as a king, as a man.
That's right.
Right.
And that's something that we have to grab the concept over. You gotta know who you are as an individual. Get a mission statement for yourself. Develop core values for yourself. Write this stuff, whatever it is, write that stuff down. Put that stuff together on paper and go over it.
Yeah.
Once you learn this type of, oh, I'm glad it's coming up. Once you learn yourself, fellas, you're gonna know what type of woman that you want.
Right. And set goals.
There
Set
you go.
short-term goals, set long-term goals, make plans to reach those goals. If your goal is, set a goal like just to get a chore done. Start out small, because once you find, once you start hitting those small milestones, you're able to make bigger goals.
Right,
And it's something that will really fortify you as a man that you can pass on, because through those small methods, I've been able to do things I never thought I'd be able to do, and I actually got that from my fiance. She helped me develop that skill of actually writing down and manifesting those goals. So find you a woman that can help you with things like that. Find you a
Yeah.
part. Don't look at it as finding a woman just for those things that we typically associate with having a woman for, but look for a partner, somebody that you can collaborate with, somebody that's on your level, somebody that has a purpose too. Because you're not just looking for a woman, you're looking for a mate, you're looking for a partner, you're looking for somebody that, hey, if I go down, if I get sick, who's gonna fill in? Somebody that you can back up. Because
right,
a relationship is more than just the courting and all that traditional stuff. It's a business relationship. It's a grind, it's a hustle. Because no matter how much you prepare as a man, circumstances will come along and you will find yourself in situations that you never thought you'd be in. If
right,
you sit up here and say, hey, this ain't gonna happen to me, it
Hmm.
will. No
It
matter
will.
how much you're playing, no matter how much money, circumstances will catch you. So in making decisions and who you lay down with or who you choose to be with, think about that. Who's going to be a good partner for me? If I have a business thing, let's say something happens, I choose to run my business. Who's going to be able to help keep me motivated if something goes wrong? Who's a good cheerleader? Who's good for me spiritually? Who's good for me mentally? Who brings me peace? Because men, that's what we need in our house is peace.
that's the most important thing.
And that's one thing a lot of women mess up in. I'm finna say this. A lot of women mess up because when we come home, they give us hell. Some of them do, a small minority. And we, you know what I'm talking about. We don't get that peace at home. And that's why a lot of men straight. It's not because they chasing women, it's because they chasing peace. And if another woman bring you that peace and that kindness and that little bit of sensitivity, when that world kicking your butt, that's what it is. And a lot of women getting too masculine.
Yeah,
Men too feminine, women getting too masculine.
Uh,
Hey, we need
that's
to
right.
switch it
and
up.
I'm gonna say this too, and I say, big shout out to Felicia Atlas, the CEO and founder of Dallas Boss Magazine. She said, "Preach." Man, because like I said, character is everything. To
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
I don't care how fine you is, I don't care how sexy you look. I want to know your character. I want to
The
know who
most
you
Right.
beautiful
are,
thing in a woman is her character. I
and
don't
that's
care
Yeah.
what
who,
we want.
like, it's her character. Because
Yeah,
that's what I see y'all people. Because the thing is, people don't realize, man, people see through your BS.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, most definitely. You know, the character is important, and like I said, independent woman. Give her, I tell you that. You know what? I would take an independent woman over a dumb woman any day. You know, I said that for
Right.
because if she independent, I mean, when I met her, she had her own place. She was making her own money. She knew how to have responsibility. We get together. God forbid something happened to me. I know that she know how to handle everything. Some guys want a dumb woman. Oh, I said dumb woman. Some guys want a dumb female for some reason. I don't need. Why would you get someone who don't know how to cook, who don't know how to clean, don't know how to budget,
Because
don't know
if
how to
she
make decisions?
can't do nothing, she gonna stay with you because she can't do nothing. If you can do that, then she depending on you. Then you can run all the game on her you want. She ain't gonna go nowhere.
But that's it. But like, if something bad happened to you, and let's say you can't get up no more,
Right.
she
They
don't know
ain't
what to
thinking
do.
about it, but they're not thinking about that. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking about instant gratification. What's gonna look good on my arm right now? Oh, I can get rid of her whenever because she can't do nothing. She disposable.
Right.
They're not thinking about a partner. They're thinking about a relationship. People don't think about, okay, I want to be with somebody 30, 40, 50 years. They
I
think,
need to know you
well,
have
if it
my
don't
back.
work, I can just get a divorce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need. I don't want nobody stupid on my team. I don't because first of all, let me tell you what me and we don't want nothing cut off in our house. We want to make sure our bills paid on time. We don't want nothing repossessed. We don't want nothing cut off. If that's to the point where I'm entrusting you and things getting cut off and we get stuff repossessed, I don't need you. First of all,
Mhm.
I'm not going to entertain you anyway because we're going to do this interview with you and we're going to have coffee, we're going to have some tea, and we're going to sit down and have some real dope conversation
Yeah.
before we go to that next level. That just me, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's not
Yeah.
for everybody. It's not
Yeah.
for everybody because one, I'm protecting my last name. My last name, it's me and our last name is important.
Yeah. It
Our
is.
legacy is important. And once we learn how to have a standard, we're not going to entertain any and every girl because she cracked a smile or she opened her legs.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's part of, but and it goes back to knowing who you are. Because once you have a secure sense of self, you're not gonna accept just anything.
Yeah.
No.
You
Nope.
know, and especially with a woman. You know, and once you have a healthy sense, because men, we have to develop a sense of manhood, and only once we do that can we help. Can we really have an appreciation for womanhood? Because I can say once I really do some work on myself, and I'm still a work in progress.
Okay, yeah. Coach evolve.
I think I developed a good sense of womanhood because I can appreciate the good women in my life. My fiance, I appreciate her to the nth degree. You know, I appreciate good mothers I see in my life, but I can see the flawed women that have been in my life. I can see that, but I can really appreciate good, strong women,
Right.
you know, and that's why I can appreciate conversations with women because men, we have to learn to have conversations with women before we
Right.
decide to bed them despite our primal instinct, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
We have to
because
become, yeah, we have to become more
right.
than just our virility
Right.
sometimes. Otherwise, we're gonna keep staying in bad decisions and hurting ourselves economically, socially, and our community.
Exactly. That's facts because you gotta have that important. That's why you have to conversate, communicate,
Yeah,
like you
because
were saying.
that's what they, and we know who that they are. It's not when I say they, I don't mean just white people. I mean anybody that thinks of us in a certain light. That's they think of us anything anyway. That we're just base creatures of instinct to just go around and fornicate. That's part of why they made marijuana illegal because they said it would make blacks and Hispanics go around raping white women. So that's what they think we are anyway. We're just sexual beasts. That's what a lot of them think about black women. Black women are just promiscuous and just sexually whatever. And so we need to do our best to make sure that not because we're concerned about what they say, but that we promote some sexual discipline. Sorry, I mean I know that might sound sort of primitive to some people, but we have to show that.
Yeah,
We have
I
to
mean,
show them
because
this.
when you talk to a woman, don't make it about sex with her. You know, it should be
Yeah,
about
no,
sex, you know, and that's what a lot of guys do. They make it about sex. Don't make it about sex. Just make it where you want to get to know her
her.
as an individual. You want to know her character, and vice versa. You show her it's not about sex. Like for example, if she say, "Can you come over and rub my feet.
Yeah,
Rub her feet and you go home. You
yeah.
show her, hey, I just came here to rub your feet and I'm taking my behind home. Why? I have integrity. I have control. I have this about myself.
I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to build a relationship with you.
Right.
I'm willing to have conversation. I'm willing to come by and talk
Right.
for 5, 6 hours. Just what it take to get to know you.
Right. And
You
then
know,
I'll
tell me
exactly.
what your ambitions are, what you want to do, so I can see if there's connection. If we click, if we got some things in common, then lead to that. Build meaningful relationships instead of this mess that we got now.
Cut it out. We gotta cut it out, man. Cut it out. And fellas, get a keen mentality about yourself. Find your good mentor. There's plenty of mentor, not any mentor.
Wow.
You got some pedophiles out there, but
Yeah.
most importantly, find somebody that you connect with, someone that can help you. We as men, we are problem solvers. We are to solve problems, not create problems. Let's stop being emotional. Let's stop getting in our feelings all the time. I noticed that too. A lot of guys are feminine. They love to go back and forth with a woman, arguing
Yeah.
back and forth with her. A man don't do that. He going by his business.
And
You know?
that in itself is gonna get you more arguments because
Yep.
when you now say this is complicated. This is something I've learned. I don't have to answer to this, but this is a scenario. Men need to learn, if you haven't learned already, don't argue with your woman because you're not gonna win the argument. That don't mean ignore, but try to find a better way to communicate. Because a lot of times, I've noticed that when you don't engage or you don't want to argue, because men, we typically don't like to argue. A lot of times our women will interpret it as we don't want to communicate. That's not the case. We just don't want to argue. So sometimes, fellas, a tip or something we might want to try to do is when the things do get heated, if we don't want to argue, just try to schedule a time later to sit and talk about it calmly.
Yeah.
Just tell our lady, baby, it's not that I don't want to communicate. I just don't want to argue. Can we
Right.
wait a couple of hours or maybe tomorrow? Can we sit down and talk about it when we both calm?
Yeah. And if she upset, don't keep making her want to talk. She already upset. That is gonna agitate her even more. I'm
Yeah.
like this, Joe. When she cool down, when she want to talk to you, she'll come talk to you.
Mhm.
Don't force her to do it. Let her cool off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let him cool off, and then come back and talk about it. But
Yeah. Cause
don't just try to chase. People keep doing. They keep. Well, I don't understand why they keep doing that.
because you're
You,
emotional. You want to get, I mean, you want to get your stuff in. You emotional, and you just want to get, it off. You just want to, and that's hard to resist. And one thing I've learned is good to have that cool off period. And a lot of times, when you're emotional, you don't want to give that period, that cool off period. But that's part of learning how to communicate, is learning those coping skills and those tactics.
right.
And that's part of getting to know somebody, because you just jump in bed with somebody, you don't know them well enough to know that's what worked best for y'all. So then you got a kid with somebody you don't know how to communicate with. What you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
You didn't know this person.
That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't know, and you created a whole life and a whole situation, a whole legal situation with this person that you
Right.
didn't know just because you got your rocks off. You
Yeah.
didn't think, and now not only did you mess yourself up, you messed this innocent child up. This child didn't ask to be here.
Nope. Not at
You know?
all. And I kind
So
of hate, and I dislike how children that out of wedlock, or not just out of wedlock, maybe they got into or a marriage, whatever, and the children have to suffer behind that
yeah,
Mhm.
because of the selfishness on both parties.
yeah,
Now the children have to suffer behind this. They're not being raised in a healthy environment. They've been raised in an unhealthy environment, so they think that's
Mhm.
normal.
that's right.
Mhm.
That's right. And I can say, and I say this about me and my ex-wife, man. We had a messed up, man, divorce, but we making the co-parenting thing really work, and I got to give her credit for it. She's a great mom, and it's really working well. And you have to work at it. It took me therapy. I don't know what she did on her own, but whatever she did is working. And
Well,
my son is benefiting from it. So
I mean, because at the end of the day, y'all still have to work together, regardless of whether you're together
yeah,
or not. You
you
still
have
have to
to.
work together.
Yeah.
You still, because you got something in common. You got a
Yeah.
child, so you
But you
basically,
really got to humble you. The thing is, everybody, is not going to be willing to humble themselves to get to
yeah,
that point. Some people just gonna be so raw about that relationship and about them raw feelings. They're not gonna be willing to be selfless enough for their child. Some
Right.
people just not gonna care enough about their child to get over themselves. And that's sad to say.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
And
gonna
you,
care more about themselves than their child.
yeah, and that's
Mhm.
not good. And it's not good. I know we pressed for time. There's almost 9 o'clock. Look, we're 2 hours on here tonight.
Mhm.
And we're pressing for time. But I enjoyed this conversation. Just better shop
Yeah,
as we
me
talk
too.
about. We have to do this again.
Yeah.
So I'm pass it on. George, go ahead, plug in what you got going on. I got people getting in contact with you. Go ahead and let it rip.
All right. Well, I'm the CEO and founder of Meta Association. You can reach me at metaassociation.org. I also do public speaking, so you can contact me there. Um, and I'm also on Facebook under George P. Brooks. That's my social media. And you can reach me at my office number, which is 214-810-6518. And it's been a pleasure speaking here. Like I said, do public speaking, doing some life coaching. Just revamped our site with some updated videos of recent events and recent speeches that I've done. So, like I said, you can reach me at metaassociation.org.
Awesome. And also somebody could pass
All
on to
right.
you, Kareem. Kareem, go ahead and
All right.
plug in what you got
Definitely,
going on.
definitely, definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm Kareem Bennett, CEO and also co-founder, one of the co-founders, my wife, DJ Howie T, of LP Media, which is a podcast, interview, music, multifaceted promotional company. And then also we have a recording label, which would be a gospel music and outreach, reaching out to the youth and young people and events and things like that. As far as music label, starting in January, you guys can always reach out to me. We have a podcast as well, but you guys can, if y'all want to check me out, I do public speaking and stuff like that too, or the training and things like that, along with my wife, Chanel LaRue. Shout out to her as well. I always got to throw her name out there, my other half. But also, you can hit me up at Living Proof Advertising at yahoo.com. You can always hit me up again. That's Living Proof Advertising at yahoo.com. You can find me on Facebook under Kareem Bennett, or Instagram, Living Proof Gospel Music Podcast, or TikTok Media Living Proof. You can go any one of those ones, hit me up, or you can DM me. Nice to hear from y'all. If y'all want to just, we just need somebody. If you're a young man, let me put this out there too. If you're a young man and you may, like the young man did the other day at work, um, and you need somebody to talk to, and maybe you don't like big groups or something like that, or you really don't know which way to go, or you just need a mentor, a friend, somebody to listen to you. Listen, I ain't that busy where I can't, sit down and talk with you or whatever, and speak to you and guide you in the ways, that, and give you some more advice. I don't know everything, but, you know, two heads is better than one. And if I don't know everything, I got my brothers here and I can point you in the right direction
Right.
if I don't know something. So as mentor. So reach out to me, man. It was good being here.
Hey, I appreciate y'all fellas, and I'm reading a few comments in the comment chat. Big shout out to Coach Shay. She's the co-host here on Walking This Way Impact Was podcast. She said, "Good to see you, Keys, kicking it and spreading knowledge." And also, Felicia Atlas said, "Featured it in the magazine." So big shout out to that. So thank you, Felicia, for that to be featured in the magazine. So that's exciting
Wow.
right there. Like I said, great things. Big shout out to Coach Shay. Big shout out to Anna C. Big shout out to Kenny Primetime Williams. Of course, they be with me on Tuesday nights here on
Mm-hmm.
Walking This Ways Impact with Podcast. Give a big shout out to everybody that may be watching this right now, sharing it, liking it. As we are live stream right now on Facebook Live, we encourage you. Big shout out to Pastor Gregory Moore for watching as well. He's with the Kings and Queens Ministry. He has his segment on Monday night, so he has his podcast on Monday nights, every Monday. A powerful man of God, of course. That's Pastor Gregory Moore. Pastor G,
All
shout out
right.
to you as well. Thank you for supporting it also. Of course, like I said, everybody that tuned in and watched us. Big shout out to Ashley Monique for watching, and big shout out to Sandra Lee for watching as well. Thank y'all, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, hanging out with us tonight. As we talked about the king mentality, this is a mentality that we want to have every day in our life, not just a slogan, not just a saying, but it's something that we practice everyday
Mhm.
everyday lifestyle. It's not something.
Mhm.
It's not like a jacket you put on. Like I'm
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
put the jacket on one day, and I'm gonna put it in the closet. No, it's a
Right.
jacket that we have to wear every day. So it's a mindset we have to wear every day, regardless
Mhm.
of where we go. So remember, as being kings, we should uplift everyone that's around us. As a king, we should not. We should be secure in our manhood. We don't compare ourselves to anybody. And now today we're gonna raise up other people. Fist to the fathers. Fathers, raise up those kings, raise up those queens that's in your life as well. Um, it said, look for the good in others. When you find it, speak it, bless them by telling them, watch them grow from that blessing, watch them rise. That's what kings do. It said, kings look for the good in others.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
find it, speak it, bless them by
Mhm.
telling them. I'm gonna say that again. Bless them by telling them. Watch them grow from that blessing. Watch them rise.
Right.
How kings do. We look for the good in others. And when we
Yeah.
find it, speak it. Bless them by telling them.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what those kings do. So
Mhm.
y'all speak it, man. They say, I'm just reading one more thing. I know I'm finna ready to go. It says this: live with integrity, honor, and dignity. Dignity. I'm gonna tongue tie. Leave a legacy of someone who raises others up. A love of the people, a man for all kings. I'm gonna say that again. Leave a legacy of someone who raised others up. A lover of the people, a man for for all, a king.
Right.
So we supposed to uplift others,
Right.
Right.
and we bless us by telling them. We watch them grow. Like
That's right.
y'all, I got fathers on here. I got besides kings, I got fathers on with me tonight. So what you
Yeah.
Right.
doing? You watching your blessings grow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even though it
Mhm.
may, I'm talking, yeah, you watching your blessings grow. You watching your kids.
Mhm.
I don't want to say kids. You watching your children grow.
Yeah.
You watching your children grow. Man, so I'm excited about tonight. I appreciate it. I know we're ready to get off the air. I thank y'all brothers for hanging out with me tonight. Big
Thank you.
shout out to
All right.
everybody that's
Mhm.
watching us. This will be on our YouTube channel of Walking This Ways Impact Wars Podcast. This will be on Spotify and Anchor Podcast as well. But one more thing, fellas, I'm starting off with you, George. Even though this is gonna be on the YouTube channel,
Mhm.
you have any final remarks for those that's gonna see this in the near future?
Um, we just have a lot of work to do. We're at a point where we really need to address our mental health. So hopefully this will be the beginning of it. As I said, right now, going through a rebranding. So uh, should be exciting to see what I come up with in the next couple of months. So I'm just really looking forward to it right now, and hope everyone stays tuned, and just looking forward to it. So that's pretty much all I got to say for right now.
Awesome. Kareem, any final remarks for those that's gonna tune in to the near future, gonna watch this on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, I definitely want to encourage y'all. You're not alone. That's some things I keep hearing, and I keep seeing it, and to the young black males out there, any males that may be feeling like that, and young women as well. If y'all feel like y'all the only ones out there going through this, remember you're not the only ones that have either been through this or going through it. It's always somebody that's been through it. You may not know, you may not understand, or you may think that we don't understand, but reach out to us. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to the people when you hear this, because and brothers and sisters, share this with your younger crowds and younger people and people that are going through some of, even older ones as well. Share it with them. I'm gonna do the same thing as well, and let them know, man, because they need to hear that discussions are like this are happening, and people are conscious of what the state of what's going on in our the from the mental health to, to just being a man and what that looks like, not on paper or anything like that, or not in the social media or nothing like that, but really what a male and what a man is supposed to be. So I would encourage anybody out there right now, the sound of my voice, and that the Lord would just bless you and keep us, continue to have discussions like this so that we can all grow and heal. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing. I want to continue to keep growing and keep healing. If we keep doing that, we don't talk about it, ain't nothing gonna happen. It's just gonna stay the same. So gotta do talk.
Most definitely. And that's what was out. I appreciate you, Cream. That's what it's all about. And I'm rocking a new T-shirt from Walking This Way Impact Was Podcast. It is Unlearn Bad Habits and Relearn Legacy. So we know that legacy
Yeah,
is important. Unlearn bad habits,
yeah.
relearn legacy. That's available on the Walking His Ways online store. We have men and women tees available. I will be posting the link as well. You can go and get some merchandise. Very iconic merchandise. I've got the I am iconic t-shirt. I run $1 billion corporation. Want prosperity. We got a lot of great t-shirts that you can go and order. Support the podcast by buying a t-shirt. So hey, we do got some merchandise on hand. We got some hoodies also online. You can check out the hoodies as well. So it's a lot of great things going on. I also want to give a big shout out to Felicia Atlas. She has the upcoming Dallas Boss dinner this time coming up October the 22nd. It's going to be at 5 p.m. here in the city of Dallas. So if you're in the Dallas area, get with Dallas Boss magazine. They are on Facebook as well. If you're a business owner, you're inspired to be a business owner, this is a great networking event to go to. They have a lot of great-minded people, men and women, who are doing great things in the city of Dallas. So that's going to be October 22nd. Like I said, Miss Felicia, she is in the comment section. So we thank her for Dallas Boss Magazine. So like I said, October 22nd, be in the place. I will be there. Coach Shay will be there from Walking This Way Impact Force as well. Looking forward to it. Hopefully George will be there as well since being in the Dallas area. So come on out October 22nd. Most likely, like I said, it's Felicia Atlas. Get with her, get with Dallas Boss Magazine with all information. Like I said, it's a great thing for y'all to come out to, meet different people that's doing great things in the city of Dallas. I'm glad to be here. I thank God for being here from Mobile, Alabama to Dallas, Fort Worth. He sent me here for a reason. I'm loving it. I'm loving it here. The network and the people, the culture here is bananas. It's crazy. The ministry is growing here. So very excited what's going on right now. Y'all realize, ladies and gentlemen, 2022 is flying on by. You gotta ask yourself, what have you done this whole entire year? Have you seen an improvement or have you seen some setbacks? Are you still in the same state of mind you were back in January 2022? And you say you're gonna make some changes? That's why I don't believe in the New Year resolution, because you get all hyped up and then you lose that momentum and you just go right back to the same state of mind. So like George was saying, get a goal, start small. Another thing I started doing. Start writing your days out. Start writing out what you want to do for the day. Start getting a schedule for yourself. The Bible said teach us how to number our days. So it's not wrong with numbering your days. So number out how you want your day to go. You know what I'm saying? You have a set time you want to get up in the morning. You want to have a set time how you want to do things. It's structure. Men, we gotta have structure, men. Have structure about ourselves. Have some urgency about ourselves. Let's get some. We got a lot of work to do, Joe. We got a lot of work to do, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been saying it.
a lot of work career we got to do, and I know we got a lot of work to do. But we'll have fun with the process.
Yeah.
We'll have fun with the process and stuff like that. But we want y'all to have a great night. We're gonna be back here next Tuesday and Wednesday night here on Walking His Ways Impact with Podcast. Y'all have a great night. Also, I'm gonna tell y'all this if you get off the air. Take your favorite drink, whether you drink water, tea, whatever you drink at night. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself, I love you. Tell yourself, I got your back. Tell yourself, you are a king. Fellas, tell yourself, I'm a king. You toast yourself and let the games begin. Also, I want to tell you to remember the graveyard. Everybody had one thing in common. They thought they were going to have tomorrow because they didn't see tomorrow. So live life like a rock star. Not like in a negative way, but in a positive way. Live like it's your last day here on earth. And y'all have a great night. Remember, fellas, be about your business. Go to work. If you got a job, take it behind the work. Do not call out sick. Don't call out because you feel like it. Take it behind the work. Be a man. Man up. Take care of your responsibility. Good night, everybody.
Good night, bro.